For decades, the cleaning and facility solutions industry has talked about appearance, productivity, and increasingly so, especially with the pandemic, infection prevention. Today, the conversation is expanding into something much larger: healthy buildings based on science. We will investigate new opportunities emerging for cleaning and facility solutions professionals to have a stronger voice in how buildings are designed, managed, measured, and evaluated for occupant health and well-being. And to do this, joining us today is Alan Rathey, founder and executive director of the Indoor Exposure Index, a nonprofit organization focused on developing practical exposure metrics and science-based approaches to healthier indoor environments. Alan, thanks for joining.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jeff. As you mentioned, I'm the director of the 501c3 Indoor Exposure Index, or Index, and its outreach arm, the Indoor Health Council. And while our mission is a broad-based approach to driving public health on many levels, given my years spent as a cleaning contractor and experiencing the general disrespect most people have for the profession, I'm a proponent of improving the lot of professionals who clean by connecting their work to the science-based bottom line impacts of managing indoor exposures. We call it evidence-based cleaning for health.
Very good. Well, we got a few questions for you because I know, Alan, you're going to kind of run the engine that's going to provide content for ISSA, information that our readers and subscribers need, our members need. But for people hearing about this for the first time, why is today's topic such a significant development for the cleaning industry?
Thanks for the question. Our ability to sell the value of our cleaning services is tied to the bottom line of our customers. So we aim to sell the business benefits of healthy indoor spaces enabled by better cleaning.
So, Alan, historically, cleaning has often been viewed as a cost center or maintenance function. I think we can agree with that. How does the healthy buildings movement change that conversation? And where do cleaning professionals fit into the larger wellness or occupant health picture?
That's a great question. It pivots around the 330-300 model, in which for every $3 a company spends on utilities like electricity, it spends $30 on rent and $300 on payroll. Ensuring healthier spaces affects that 300 piece the most and makes cleaning for health a profit center. For example, sick building syndrome, reducing sick building syndrome symptoms by 20 to 50% is linked to annual productivity gains of up to 200 billion. Cognitive decline is another area. Improved environments can lead to 61% to 101% better cognition or thinking ability for workers. The Harvard Six Cities study demonstrated that greener, healthier buildings compared to baseline prevented 54,000 respiratory incidents, 21,000 lost days of work, 16,000 lost days of school, 11,000 asthma exacerbations, up to 405 premature deaths, and 256 hospital admissions, adding 4 billion in related benefits that, when added to the 6.7 billion in energy savings, total $10.7 billion saved overall. So for every $1 spent on greening your building, there was an added 60 cents saved via the health benefits. And this is even before a focused effort to make indoor environments truly healthier through direct efforts such as we propose with the cleaning industry at the center. The Harvard Six Cities study and others demonstrated exposure response functions that estimated the health risk in relation to concentration of specific air pollutants. For example, a higher level of airborne particles such as PM 2.5 caused a 7.3% increase in mortality rates. So while the entire 20-year-old green building movement has been based on energy savings, turns out that there's a nearly equal health and social benefit that had not been quantified until recently. When this approach was applied to Harvard's portfolio of buildings about the same square footage as those occupied by Google's buildings over 10 years, in addition to the millions saved on energy, there was 12.7 million saved on health and related benefits. When applied to Carrier's new global headquarters, which saved 172,000 a year on energy, the savings from health-related benefits was an additional $83,000. Again, that's without any conscious effort to clean for health by reducing indoor exposures to, say, dust or bioload. And of course, these links will be available in the podcast notes.
That's a lot of great information, Alan. Thank you for sharing that. I want to talk about Index. That's just a cool name, Index. Talk about that and the main focus and expected results from that project.
Thank you for the question. The 501c3 Indoor Exposure Index, or Index, provides information, education, and training to define, measure, index, and manage indoor exposures, including exposure to environmental pollutants, chemicals, bioload, ergonomic stressors, lighting, and other factors. Index aims to be the leading force in improving indoor environmental health through comprehensive exposure assessment and reporting. By providing reliable data and actionable insights, we hope to empower individuals and organizations to create healthier indoor spaces through strategic partnerships like this one, educational initiatives, and continually innovating. We want to achieve our mission and ultimately significantly impact public health. So the Indoor Health Council is actually the voice of Index. It serves to educate and enable consumers and professionals in the adoption of better strategies that protect health. So our basic approach is to drive localized applied science environmental routines, acronym LASER, LASER. And our goal is to make every cleaning professional laser focused. When customers realize the benefits of a laser-focused, science-based cleaning for health program, we believe people would be crazy not to get involved with the cleaning professionals with those skills and priorities. The results of education around the business benefits will, we hope, compel the world to take notice and hire the right professional cleaning organizations. And to that end, we're actually offering our educational and training services for free. Yes, free, and providing a low-cost optional certification of $100 a year for a full support package, where each company or worker can be credentialed as a certified indoor environmental quality specialist, CIEQS, and have their credential they can include in their email signature, as well as receive recognition on our website and elsewhere as we build out our partnerships.
More important acronyms to figure out, and we'll get that done in time, I'm sure. Thank you, Alan, for that. You've often talked about connecting cleaning, indoor air quality, exposure reduction, and public health. What opportunities do you see for collaboration between ISSA, WELL, Index, building owners, facility managers, and the like over the next few years?
Thanks for that question, Jeff. First, I'm just enormously proud to see ISSA stepping up to professionalize cleaning as a way to improve public health. This is evidenced by its co-forming the Healthy Buildings Coalition with the Well Building Institute. We are also proud to have joined that same work group at the invitation of Jason Hartke, the Executive Vice President of Advocacy and Policy at Well. And this is a critical program as it's made up of more than 80 national organizations, industry leaders, and trade associations prioritizing the health and safety improvements for buildings of all sizes.
Let's talk about sharing information a little deeper from an editorial and content perspective. What can ISSA members and the global cleaning community expect from Index that will move the needle for those watching the program today?
Thanks. Well, we want to elevate cleaning from an aesthetic task to a verified health utility. To do that, we strive to make our presence and programs known largely in part uh, to the steering committee of that work group, which includes groups like the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, the American Industrial Hygiene Association, the Building Owners and Managers Association, the International Facilities Management Association, and others. We believe that once they understand the value that true cleaning provides, the future changes and everyone wins. More immediately, as you know, Index has formed a media partnership. It's our honor to do so with ISSA today that will include publishing content across various platforms to help the professional cleaning industry advance public health. The program will begin in the fall, and the launch installment will address total integrated measurement of the environment, TIME, and the attribution may read something like just in time cleaning for success, exclusive report for ISSA today from the 501c3 Indoor Exposure Index and the Indoor Health Council. And as funds permit, there will be a total integrated measurement of the environment, TIME or TIME app, available to certified indoor environmental quality specialists credential holders that will enable tracking measurements in the field to bridge the gap between environmental science and practical field level application, leading to the ROI just mentioned.
Alan, could you tell us a little bit more about BMI?
Yes, Jeff, thank you. First, we want to thank ISSA for being one of the stakeholders in BMI development. BMI focuses on reducing surface-related exposures determined initially through ATP sampling and averaging using a scientific method. But rather than dealing with many confusing ATP readings, the BMI provides a single, at-a-glance metric that reflects average hygienic and cleaning levels, acting as a proxy for contaminants like organic, microbial, particulate, and chemical soils, much like CO2 acts as a proxy for indoor air pollutants. And while such levels do not correspond in a linear way to pathogens or other pollutants, BMI serves as a simple applied science way to show, frame, and guide effective cleaning. Phase 1, completed in June 2026, provides practical sampling methods for BMI. Phase 2 will define the BMI 1 to 10 cleanliness scale based on field testing. Again, we want to elevate cleaning from an aesthetic task to a verified health utility that drives the bottom line of business, both that of cleaning operations and their customers, through creating a laser focus of localized, applied science environmental routines, or LASER, LASER.
Thank you, Alan. Well, those are the questions I had. Anything you'd like to say in closing?
Well, we want to uh, actually discuss three areas of expertise. One is hand hygiene, clean equipment certification, and ATP sampling. And these are preliminary courses based on the premise that you can't clean with dirty hands or equipment, and that ATP sampling for bioload removal should be standardized or the measurement is essentially meaningless. Then, since the needs of different cleaning organizations vary, we offer an a la carte menu of lessons and coursework from which management can choose to customize their programs. For example, if they need training on ladder safety for changing high light bulbs, they can select that course along with others to meet their specific needs. All the training and proctoring is free, and we hope will lead to an annual $100 certification, with our goal being to hit 1,000 certified environmental quality specialists, CIEQS, by 2030. These funds will be used to improve our offerings and, if possible, continue to build with ISSA and other key organizations. Again, all our courses are free, and importantly, they're based on the latest cognitive research on learning. Finally, we move them on to getting BMI certified, Bioload Exposure Metric Index certified, based on phase 1 of the BMI project.
Alan, sounds like a lot of work still to do. Thank you for giving up some time today to talk about our organizations and how we can work together. And I look forward to seeing some of that great content that the industry needs right now.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the opportunity.